Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Mukeswe. I'm a student here at UBC in my final year, studying electrical engineering and business with a specialization in electrical power systems. And I'm really honored to be here this evening to share with you my vision for Africa pertaining equitable access to electricity. This vision has been shaped by my learning journey, both at home and here in Canada. I was born and raised in Kampala, Uganda, and I only moved halfway across the world to attend UBC. During this talk, I will share my learning story with the aim of highlighting some insights, criticisms, and suggestions that I certainly hope will get you to start thinking differently about electricity access in Africa, and particularly East Africa. I choose to focus on this region particularly for two reasons. The first reason is I want to acknowledge the diversity of issues across the 54 different countries on the continent, thus challenging the common fallacy that everything is the same everywhere in Africa. The second reason, of course, is I've only traveled in these countries to study electrical energy access. As a child, I always wondered why the power went off very often, especially while I watched my favorite cartoons on TV. Why, I wondered. But before I could get any answers, I came to a crossroads with an even more damning realization. It could be worse. No power at all, nothing. And in this reality, there was no water or hot water. There were no cold beverages from the fridge. And there was no bright light to study at night or even to play. And of course, most important for me at the time, no cartoons because the TV was off. Fast forward to last summer, I embarked on a journey to look for an answer to this question that still eluded me. And like any complex issue, I was overwhelmed by the different responses and reasons I got from the stakeholders I engaged on the topic. It was interesting. I've always found that the more I learn about a particular subject of interest, the more I want to learn. And I really believe it's this thirst for knowledge, new ideas, and critical insights that is and should be championed as the fuel to drive innovation on the continent. And coming back to my journey, I said to myself, there are many answers to the question why. Maybe I should ask different questions. I asked, what is being done to get the desirable endpoint, if we know why? And if so, who is doing it? And all these questions just unearthed different parts of the energy challenge that I even never imagined. But more importantly, they unearthed a very enormous and unique opportunity. So the opportunity I speak of is the ability for solar power to meet energy demands, and these are crucial energy demands on the continent, particularly in East Africa. And the topic of solar is immensely broad and has various contentions about things like the scalability of projects, the efficiency and economic sustainability. But in this talk, I'm going to contextualize it and talk about a particular kind of solar power that powers your everyday solar panel, which is known as solar PV or photovoltaics. So in East Africa, solar PV takes the following forms. And the one closest to me here is Pico PV. That's the small applications for phone charging and lighting in many households and businesses, and that's the commonest one. And then right there in the middle, this is, and all these pictures from East Africa, actually. That's the rural and urban solar home systems, and then the larger scale solar systems for microgrids and utility scale power. And all these systems have one thing in common, which is they require electrical energy storage in batteries. And batteries have been the biggest setback for this technology because they're the most expensive part of any solar power system being used in East Africa. But one particular application of solar, which is solar irrigation, excites me in this region because it actually gives us a way of going around the challenge of needing to have batteries. in a typical solar power system, you will need to charge the batteries when the sun is out, and then get that energy back by discharging the batteries later on. But actually, in this technology that's actually been around for over 7 years, you're able to pump and store water when the sun is out, and store it at an elevated storage unit, and then tap it using gravity to do your irrigation. And of course, you could use this water for many things, but particularly I'm talking about irrigation because agriculture is the economic backbone of all the East African countries, contributing to a significant part of the GDP of these countries. And so improving productivity could really put them on a path of accelerated growth. But I'm going to go back to the opportunity. The modular nature of the solar power resource on the continent is allowing young entrepreneurs to take ownership of this challenge of meeting crucial energy demands by actually allowing them to start businesses and change this situation and the status quo in their own communities. But more importantly, building a renewable energy infrastructure in Africa is a unique opportunity for countries to actually get ahead in the global transition to renewable energy. And yes, in my vision for Africa, the Africa's next generation, I see African countries playing a significant role in the fight against climate change. And in addition to finding answers to my initial question, why, I also did learn about more significant challenges and really life-changing challenges, changing impacts of having access to electricity. And some of those I've discussed in this talk. But it also humbled me and firmly grounded me in my endeavors, because I've really found fulfillment in seeing opportunities where I initially saw challenges. So if, like me, you believe in the picture that I've painted for the continent's next generation, I invite you to join the conversation and find your niche. Thank you.